What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about more Spider-Man 2 potential leaks. Now, like we always say with these kinds of videos, I take it with a grain of salt. What's interesting about this one, and, I was wondering if this could be the same person. This is. If you guys go back, and I'll link the video at the end of this one, we talked, like, a few months ago, maybe not even that long, about a leak. The one where it says, like, Harry isn't Venom, Miles is playable, yada, yada, yada. If you guys remember that one, this supposedly comes from the same person. The person says, okay, here's my last post, and here's more stuff. So I thought this would be interesting, and like I always say with these, I think they're fun. I think even if they turn out to not be true, they spark discussion. They're interesting things just to generally chat about, and we all kind of know going into this. Look, I found this on Reddit. I believe he posted it both times on Reddit, so you take it with a grain of salt, but I think we can have a little bit of fun with this, okay? Now, before I get too far in, make sure, as always, if you guys want to subscribe, but greatly appreciate it. Subscribe, bell icon turned on. Leave a like, definitely helps these videos out. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. Link for that's always in the description, along with all my other social media stuff, my Patreon, my memberships for YouTube, and obviously you can just look me up over on Twitter if you want to do it that way. Okay, so again, they say Spider-Man leak update. They say here's the link to the last post, and they say I was able to get in contact with my source, and they explained some things that I had actually misinterpreted and wanted to clear things up. We'll talk about this whole thing like opinion-wise afterwards. I'm just going to read it for now. Just because Harry isn't the Venom doesn't mean he won't take on Venom-like qualities, but that he isn't actually the Venom of the series. The save transfer is entirely optional. The main reason for this is to allow players to focus on unlocking all the new upgrades and other unlockables within the next game. I also misinterpreted that you transfer over every upgrade. It's actually just things like suits and gadget upgrades. Melee damage and health won't transfer over. There will be new gadgets, etc. To unlock. I also got a few more, tidbits of information. Queens is definitely in the next game for sure. I'm not sure about other potential areas being added, but Queens is in it. There are no MJ missions. Her role will actually be relatively small in the story. She will still be in Symkaria, at least at the beginning of the story. As for the big bad, it's someone deep in the comic lore, but even my source doesn't know, so I won't speculate. It's just allegedly a composite character and not a straight adaptation. Jameson's role is larger, will have more physical appearances in this game. Black Cat will also make appearances along with Kraven. Kingpin will also be returning in some form. The black suit will have entirely different play styles to regular Peter Parker gameplay. It is essentially a third playable character. Pretty much all I got. Hoping to find out more soon. If my source gets any more info, I will post as soon as possible. So not bad, not bad. It's really tough. The first, I want to be honest. I want to kind of just go based off of like my gut instinct in terms of what I want to talk about. The first thing that really catches my eye is the whole transferring things over. So I don't know why there would be any miscommunication or misspeculation in the first place, because in games like this, what normally happens is you would start out, and it depends on how you do it, but sometimes you would start out with the upgrades, the gadgets, stuff like that, the suits in this case, right, from the past game. And then you can do a couple different things with those. I look to, the first one again, I'm literally just going top of my head. God of War is the first thing that comes to mind. In God of War, specifically, in what I jumped to, God of War 3, you start fully powered. You start with literally everything. You really do it for multiple God of War games, and the game takes everything from you after the first act. And the rest of the game is not just about getting everything back, but it's also about literally leveling yourself back up to where you were. So that is a way of doing it. There's other games where you could start out just as powerful as you were at the end of the first game and keep going up from there. It depends on how you do it. But again, why this was misspoken like that, if anything sticks out to me about the leak in terms of something that makes me skeptical about it, weirdly enough, this could be the thing. Because, of course, health and, stuff like that is not, so it's okay, well, if I played 15 hours of Spider-Man and then you played 25 and my health was 22% lower than your health, that's gonna transfer. So you'll have 22% more health than me, because that is very stupid, and that's not how, no game under the sun does that. So if that was ever, and it sounds like that was what he kind of inferred. I'm not calling this guy out, but if that was ever thought of at all, I'm gonna immediately start to lower you on the terms of like I mean I don't know I don't think that's never happened before, so that's in my opinion a little odd. But yeah, the idea that, and I feel like this is what's going to happen too. Now, maybe they may limit you. I don't know if you'll start Spider-Man 2 with all the suits. Now, I don't remember, is there like 22 suits? I don't remember how many suits. Say there's 20 just to make it even. I don't know if you'll start Spider-Man 2 with all 20 suits, and then they'll give you another 25. So at the end of the game, you'll have 45. I don't, like, it could be, but I honestly don't know how that would necessarily work. I just assume you're going to get most of the suits, if not all, that the first game had. It's odd. It's odd. A different example, but like Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, like Battlefront 3, I think needs to include all characters that came in 2, including all of the, the things that they did over the years. Not like I would call them add-ons, but they were just like updates. Grievous, Obi-Wan. Battlefront 3 needs to have all of them and then more. It's kind of I guess the same way I think of it like this. So, again, like I think that makes sense. I think that's cool. Start us out with as many suits as you can that came from the first game, and then just go from there. And the rest of it, the Harry isn't Venom doesn't mean he won't take on Venom-like qualities, but he isn't actually the Venom of the series. I think that's fine. I think that's a little playing with people, like what we're expecting, playing with our expectations. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's doing something a little bit different to maybe catch people off guard. Like that sounds right. I don't know if they'll actually do it. Maybe they. I would want to say probably they won't, because I don't know how serious I take these rumors just in general. It could very well be. The no MJ missions, that one's interesting. When I've stopped covering Spider-Man like weekly. I can't keep that up for like 3 years until we get the next game, or 1.5, however long. But one of the last videos I made when I did a weekly was, is MJ going to be, like, are we going to be able to play as her? And I actually made the case for her, that we would play as her. And then obviously this says there will be no MJ missions. Her role will be relatively small. I guess, well, that's tough, because one thing I do want, and we've talked about this, right? Having that evil Peter Parker, like really struggling with his emotions and how he changes when he's infected, let's say, okay? And I don't really think you can, I mean, I'm sure there's different ways they can do it, but I don't know how well you can convey him changing into just a bad person without a love interest. Now, you can do it with Miles, and I think that would be equal. Like, I think then, I would say equally. I don't think one necessarily is better than the other, but I would argue you'd want both. You know what I mean? So if you're going to have Peter really start to go kind of like to the dark side, let's say, I want to see how that relationship cracks with Miles and how Miles reacts and how he'll want to bring Peter back. But I also want to see that from MJ. You know what I mean? So if you don't have MJ at all and you only have Miles for that specific arc, that emotional arc, I don't know if that's the best thing. So I think that's possible. Like, I do not rule out MJ having I don't think a lot of people liked playing as her. You look at this game, we remember with the last rumors, and I, whether or not you believe the rumors or not, I do think this is going to be one of those switching games. There'll be missions that are exclusive to Miles. There'll be missions that are exclusive to Peter. Most will be Peter. Maybe some things, it doesn't matter who you play as, right? I think it'll be that kind of game, okay? So, like, it makes sense that it's going to be very heavy into playing as Spider-Man, like Peter, playing as Miles, and then they've talked about multiple times how, the black suit version of Peter, their own upgrades, their own abilities, their own moveset. It's literally going to feel like a third character, like a completely different character. If that's what they're going for, yeah, having MJ thrown in there doesn't make, I think it would kind of break, some synchronization, let's say, right? So I don't, I understand that, and I would ultimately agree with it. Queens being in the game, so they don't know if there's going to be more areas. I mean, this is it's solid. I mean, I like reading these. Again, they're a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of parts to it. I would still lean more towards no, just because I don't know. I mean, I don't know who this person is, and I don't even know if people care about my opinions as to whether these things are real or not. But I would lean more towards fake, just because I'm kind of skeptical on these kind of just Reddit posts that don't really, they say they have a source and they've talked back and forth, but I mean, anybody can say that. At the same time, as I've said, I don't even care, to be quite honest with you, I don't even care if you say you have a source. Just like when you say your uncle's sister-in-law's cousin works at the company, and that's how you know these things, I don't think that makes you, I think you could have said you don't even have a source. You just know these things just because you know them. And I think they would actually be more than equal, I think that would actually make me believe you more to say nothing. Okay, so those kind of things are funny, I would say, to talk about. But let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? What are some parts of the leak that maybe you find some of them true, some of them false? Anything you want to talk about in general, make sure you guys let me know in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon. YouTube has either been unsubbing people or they've just flat out stolen subscribers from channels over the last like 3 or 4 days. Wednesday, Thursday, or actually Thursday, Friday, I think were the days. So everybody's down. Make sure you guys look at the subscribe. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Whether you've been unsubscribed or you've just never subscribed before, hit the bell icon, hit the like button. Definitely helps these videos out. Like I said, all my social media stuff, my Twitter, my Discord second channel, we have Patreon, we have YouTube memberships, all that good stuff, all in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. If I ever see more of this stuff, I'll be sure to let you guys know, and I hope to see you all on the next video.